Hello, this is T Chapman 500. Welcome to the Tereana City Superspeedway. I've done some reconfiguration of this racetrack. So, one of the major reconfigurations I've done is I have moved the racing surface 20 feet to the inside. I shifted it over 20 feet. Now the reason for that is so that the center line, the center line ends up 15 feet to the left of the inside wall, and that will give us a length of 4 miles according to NASCAR's standards. Now, whether or not this track is actually 4 miles in length, I don't know, but the center line is 4 miles in length when we negate all of the elevation changes, which is good enough for me. So a few other things I've changed is the outside wall is now 7 feet high. It used to be 4 feet high. The inside wall is still 4 feet high. And these two dashed lines here and here register as paint instead of asphalt. So I decided to add a little bit more style to this racetrack than what we had before, and this is the result so far. So you might have noticed a little bit of texture coordinates issues on that stripe that goes off into pit road. Yeah, I can't control that from Sandbox, so what I'm gonna have to do is, after I'm done with all of the 3DO modifications, placing all of the objects, splitting up all the segments, modifying all the segments, adding all the decals, etc., so I'm going to go into a hex editor and manually adjust the texture coordinates for that section of paint. By the way, if we do this, these lines that you see on the track now are exactly the same as what we had before, except I created a program to shift them over by the amount that the racetrack was shifted over. So they look identical, and they technically are identical, except they've been shifted over so that they match the alignment of the new racing surface. Now, I'm still tweaking the AI. I've been running into a lot of problems with this new configuration, so it's probably going to be a while before this thing is available to the public. Plus, I still need to add in stuff like the emergency vehicle access points. So the grandstands that you see on the track right now are from the old configuration. I have not updated them to fit the new configuration. However, when you have a turn with a radius of about, I think it's 8,000 feet for these bends, yeah, tightening it by about 20 feet isn't gonna make that much difference in the alignment of the front stretch grandstands. But nonetheless, I will be redoing those grandstands, and they're gonna be a lot more detailed than what you see here. Also, before I model in things like the infield geometry, which by the way is going to be a low resolution version of the geometry because it's never gonna be drivable in NASCAR Racing 03, I'm also going to be modeling in the garage area and a custom flag stand, custom caution lights, and a few other custom details. I'm also going to have a custom start-finish line, custom pit entry and pit exit lines, custom start box markers. Basically, I'm going to try and customize as much as I can. Now, if you've seen my previous video on the racetrack, which I think was the previous video period, you will know that I put this track into the Microsoft Flight Simulator X. So it doesn't have this thing, it still has the old paint job, so solid white line, white dashed lines, none of this extra detail on the paint, and it certainly doesn't have these grandstands. What I'm going to do is export an image of the airport, either in Flight Simulator X or in the airport design editor, make it into a background image and possibly into a 3DO file, and that'll at least give us something to look at on the infield so that if we get near it, we won't end up with those clipping issues. So anyways, Let's jump into a race. Pace car's right up against the wall. I'll have to fix that. Actually, I believe that's left over from the old configuration. So from the apron line to this first stripe is 20 feet, and from the wall to that stripe that I'm on is also 20 feet. Now, for some reason, the AI have a habit of checking up just before the race goes green. So I'm actually gonna back off a little bit, and when the AI check up, hopefully I'll be there and they'll be at my speed.
Get ready now. Going green. Pace car's in. Green flag, green flag. Green, green, green.
How much must I increase the acceleration modifier to keep this from happening? Oh! I forgot to give them a setup. That might be one of the reasons. The setup I gave them is a bit looser than this setup, and it just does not work in the draft. Don't you dare come down on me. The AI are so predictable. And the real idiots are also predictable. Seems like the outside line is losing a lot of momentum. Oops. Tow truck. Rats. I definitely need to rework these cameras. But I don't think they came out too badly for someone who used a hex editor to modify and create cameras and to remove cameras. Yep, so, yeah, that was totally my fault. Oh boy. And am I the only one that... Well, that answers that question. Yep, I moved over a bit too late, and now I'm out of the race. Such a shame. I had a winning car. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. What? Alright, look carefully. So, no contact. No contact. No contact. No contact. No contact. No contact. Apparently there's contact even though there's still room. We can still see between my car and the number 22 car. Still no visual contact. I think this simulator is using bounding boxes for the car collision model. Yeah, there's just no way that should have happened. Did the same thing also happen to the 5 car? I don't think so. I think I actually did hit the 5 car. Huh. Greg Biffle flipped. And that is why we have the Newman bar. So let's see who wins the race to pit road. I mean, the race to the line. And it's gonna be Dale Jarrett. And there's the line. Something usually happens when the... I was gonna say, something usually happens when the field is trying to take the caution, so, or rather, line up behind the pace car. And what do you know? Something happened. So let's see. The 2 car gets into the 12 car, maybe? Yep. The 2 car gets into the 12 car, and then the 12 gets into the 99, and also the 2 gets into the 32. So that's now at least those 3 cars, and probably that one, are out of contention. So before I end off this video, I just want to let you know that I've added some objects to the track. I've also shifted all of the pit stalls about 1 foot to the left, added some decals to mark the start and end of pit road, and the start-finish line. There's the starter box, it's the default Talladega box. I've also added decals for the restart zone, and here's the start-finish line on pit road. That's not as interesting. And here is the pit crew climbing onto the wall instead of onto the air. And now we are in a race session, and as you can see, the pace car up ahead is roughly in the middle of the field, or roughly between the 2 pacing lines. So I haven't made the custom starter box yet, which I will do eventually, and I have also not made the custom caution lights yet. And hopefully the AI don't check up on me this time.
Green flag, green flag, green.
Oh yeah, that fixed the checkup issue. Still could use a bit more acceleration, but that's fine. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next video. This is T. Chapman 500 signing off.
Stay behind the 01 car. We got a wreck on the back straight. Let him by. You all right?